بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson, which is Unit 3 pair work, which means from the name itself, pair work. You'll be working with one of your friends or one of your colleagues in answering questions that we have today. But before we do that, please open your workbooks, page 101, exercise A here. Complete the sentences with the words from the box. So, again here, exercise A, complete the sentences with the words from the box. So you can see here the words abstract, adapted, affectionate, bond, duration, embraced, pampered, released, and residence. And you notice here, affectionate is already taken by the example here. Birds can be very affectionate towards their babies. They sit close to them and feed them until they are ready to leave the nest. Again, the example here, birds can be very affectionate, emotional towards their babies. They sit close to them and feed them until they are ready to leave the nest. So the correct answer here is obviously affectionate. So number one, when I go to college next year, I'm hoping to get an on-campus word here because I want to live near all the other students. Again, when I go to college next year, I'm hoping to get an on-campus something here because I want to live. Notice the key word here, live, near all the other students. So what's the answer here? Is it abstract, adapted, bond, duration, embraced, residence, released, and pampered? And notice here the key word live. He wants to live near his friends. So he wants to live someplace. So what's the correct answer here? What's the word that means something that you live in? So let's see, the correct answer here is residence. Residence is the place that you live in. So when I go to college next year, I'm hoping to get an on-campus residence. Why? Because I want to live near all the other students. Number two, today he's going to get himself he's going to get his hair cut and his thobe cleaned and starched. So today he's going to get himself totally what? He's going to do something. What's he going to do? He's going to get his hair cut and his thobe cleaned and starched. So he's taking care of himself on that day. So today he's going to get himself totally, very good, totally pampered, extra care. He's going to get his hair cut and his thobe cleaned and also starched. So continuing here, number three, I prefer art that shows animals and scenery to art. So another kind of art here. I prefer the art that shows animals and scenery to art. I like to know what I'm looking at. So again, I prefer art that shows animals and scenery to something else here, art. Why? Because I like to know what I'm looking at. So what other kind of art that when you see it, you don't know what you're looking at? What do we call it? Most of the time, people don't know what they are looking at. Yes, very good. We call it abstract art. So the answer here, I prefer art that shows animals and scenery, something obvious here, to abstract art. Abstract art. Why? Because I like to know what I'm looking at. Number four, the baby birds will be into nature again after they learn to fly. We must be sure they will be able to survive out in the wild. Again, the baby birds will be into nature again. Into nature again. So what will happen to the baby birds? Again, the baby birds will be into nature again after they learn to fly. We must be sure they will be able to survive out in the wild. So what will happen to the baby birds? The answer is released. They will be released into nature again. Very good. Number 5, I was so happy to see my brother that him, when I got home from vacation. I was so happy to see my brother that so he did something to his brother here, him. When I got home from vacation, what did he do to his brother? He was so happy. He didn't see his brother for a long time. So when he first saw him, what did he do? Yes, very good. He embraced him. I was so happy to see my brother that I embraced him when I got home. Number 6, many people form very strong with their pets. Again, many people form a very strong with their pets. So they form very strong what with their pets? Yes, very good. A very strong bond. Many people form a very strong bond with their pets. Number 7 here, my sister had to have surgery last week, even though the surgery was only 20 minutes. So this is the key word here to help you answer. This is time. 20 minutes. It seemed like a really long time. Again, my sister had to have surgery last week, even though the surgery was only 20 minutes time. It seemed like a really long time. So what's the answer here? What's a word here related to time? Yes, very good. It's the word duration. The word duration. So my sister had to have the surgery last week, even though the duration of the surgery was only just 20 minutes. It seemed like a really long time. Last one here, number 8. We will to living in a new house. So they moved to a new house. They are living in a new house. My father was worried that it would be difficult for us to adjust to the new place. Again, we will to living in the new house. So what did they do well when they moved to the new house? When you move to a new place, what do you do? Yes, you adapt. We adapted well. We adapted well to living in a new house. My father was worried that it would be difficult for us to adjust to the new place. So the correct answer is adapt. Adapt means to get used to something new. To get used to something new. This is what it means to adapt. Adapt, it means to get used to something new. When you go to a new place, when you go to college, you adapt. You try to get used to this new atmosphere, let's say. So continuing here with exercise B, page 101. Answer the questions. When do you usually embrace someone? So you can answer the questions with whatever you like. So there's no wrong or right answer. So when do you usually embrace someone, like hugging someone? When do you usually embrace someone? Yes, maybe when you haven't seen someone for a long time and then you see him, because you miss him, of course, you go and embrace him and hug him. So the first one, the people often embrace when they say hello or goodbye. So when you greet someone or when you say goodbye to them, you embrace them. Or as we said before, when you haven't seen them for a long time, when you want to greet them, you hug them and embrace them. Number 2, who do you know that is affectionate? Describe him or her. Do you know someone who is affectionate, really caring? Do you know someone? Yes, very good. Usually mothers are very affectionate. So try to describe something that your mother or father do because he or she is affectionate. For example, here I said my mother is an affectionate person. She is always hugging me and my sister. Again, my mother is an affectionate person. My mother is an affectionate person. She is always hugging me and my sister. Number 3, do you like abstract art? Why or why not? Abstract art, when you see a painting, art that is abstract, you can't tell what is in the drawing. Sometimes you see just an eye or a nose in a different shape than that we usually see. So do you like abstract art? Of course, this is according to your own preference. There's no right or wrong answer. This is your own opinion. For me, I don't like abstract art because I want, when I see a painting, when I see an art, I want to know what I'm looking at. So I said here, I don't like abstract art because I often don't understand what the picture is about. When you look at a painting from as an abstract art, sometimes you don't know what you are looking at. You don't understand what's the message, let's say, in the picture. So that's why I don't like it, because when I look at a picture, I want to understand, I want to know what I'm looking at. Number 4, describe your current residence. Your current residence. Do you remember the meaning of residence? Yes, very good. It's the place you are staying in, whether it's a small villa, a house, an apartment. So describe your current residence. For example, here I said, I live in a small house with my family. This is me, of course. I live in a small house with my family. So describe your own residence, whether it's an apartment, as you said before, or a small house, or maybe even a big house. So this is question number 4, describe your current residence. As I said, I live in a small house with my family. Jumping on to the revision of what we previously took. If you remember, we talked about animals. Do you have any interesting experiences you've had with pets or animals you've seen in the wild or in a zoo? And what's this animal here? Yes, very good. It's a panda. What's this one? It's white. Yes, it's polar bear. And this one, this animal here with the long neck, what do we call it? Very good. It's a giraffe. And this one, of course, we all know it. It's a monkey. So you remember this lesson, we talked about animals. And if you remember, the theme of this unit is animals, and we indulged in animals. Do they communicate? Do they laugh? And so on. So the question here, do you have any interesting experience with animals as pets or in the zoo? Have you ever gone to the zoo? If no, I advise you to go to look at different animals. So this is the lesson from previous lecture, and here's the first article. If you remember, the Groundhog Day, this groundhog who knows when winter or spring is coming. And this is the Coco, the gorilla. The Coco was famous gorilla who used human sign language. So the gorilla knows how to make a sign language. Coco was taught sign language by psychologist Penny Patterson when Coco was just a baby. So from she was just a baby, the psychologist tried to teach her how to make sign signals. Also here, this cat, we called it a mouser from the name itself, a mouser. A mouser is a cat that is kept for the purpose of catching mice. From the name itself here, mouser, the purpose is to catch mice. This is, let's say, a fancy cat because it's in England, and there has been a mouser at the Prime Minister residence. Where did the cat live? It lived in the Prime Minister's residence. Residence here, the place where someone lives. That's why you called it a fancy cat or royalty, let's say, because it's living in the Prime Minister residence just to catch mice. Then we talked about this lion, and one day in 1969, John Randall and Anthony Burke saw a real live lion cub. Cub, it means a small or baby lion. A live lion cub. A cub is a baby lion in a London department store window. Then they released it. Then they came again. 1 year later, they thought that the lion wouldn't recognize them, but he did. So these are today's objectives. Write a paragraph about an animal. So you're going to write a paragraph with the help of your colleague, of course, about an animal. Describe the animal and its behavior. So this is the pair work here. Let's say write a paragraph about an animal you know. So an animal you know. Describe the animal and its behavior. What does it do? Describe the animal and its behavior, but don't say what kind of animal it is. Keep it a secret. Don't say, is it a horse? Is it a lion? Is it a cat? Don't say what kind of animal it is. Exchange paragraphs with a partner. Guess what kind of animal your partner's paragraph is about. So just write a paragraph, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 lines about an animal you know and its behavior. Try to describe him and his behavior or her behavior without saying which animal is it. Then try to then give the paragraph to your friend, and also he will give you his paragraph, and then try to figure out what is this animal. For example, when he say, then I rode my animal. So now you know it's not a cat, for example, because you can't ride a cat. So maybe it's maybe it's a horse, or maybe something else. Maybe when he say, I carried the animal. I carried the animal with my hands. So you know it's not a lion or a horse because you can't carry them. So maybe it's a cat, or maybe a chicken, or something else. So this is the pair work here. Again, write a paragraph about an animal you know. Describe the animal and its behavior, but don't say what kind of animal it is. Exchange paragraphs with a partner. Guess what kind of animal your partner's paragraph is about. Here's a language builder for you. A word is described as concrete when it refers to a specific physical object that can be seen, heard, or touched, such as book, because book, you can touch a book. Chair, song, you can hear a song. Or star, you can see a star. So we describe a word as concrete when you can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it, and so on. Abstract words describe concepts and ideas, something you can't hear or touch, such as love. You can't see love, you can't hear love. Freedom, hope, and hate. So these words called abstract words. These are things that cannot be seen, touched, or heard. So concrete words, a word that you can see, hear, or touch, like a book. Abstract words that you cannot see, touch, or hear, like love or freedom. Another fun fact here, groundhogs are furry brown rodents that weigh between 9 and 11 pounds. That's 4 to 5 kilograms. They can climb trees, and they're good swimmers. They live underground and hibernate during the winter. This means they go into a very deep sleep. This is what's meant to hibernate, to go into a very deep sleep, similar to a coma. For the winter months, they eat the leaves of grass and other plants, as well as seeds and roots. So this is an interesting information about groundhogs. And with that, we reach the end of this lesson. See you next lesson, inshallah. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.